In a world driven by technology, the contributions of Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson, a pioneering physicist, interwoven in the very core of our daily lives. As the first African-American woman to earn a PhD from MIT, her pioneering research has revolutionized how we communicate, connect, and power our planet. This video unravels the science behind caller ID, call waiting with semiconductors, communication through the internet using fiber optic cables, renewable energy from nuclear power, and the life of Dr. Jackson and how her work has propelled these technologies to reshape our future. Part of this video is brought to you by kalewebco.com. Her journey started as a little girl who loved to explore. Born just 1 year after the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, Japan, August 5, 1949, Dr. Jackson had an inherent interest in living things. One day she was sitting in her backyard and noticed some bees buzzing and sucking the nectar from the flowers and became curious, which sparked her love for science. She collected live bumblebees and did various experiments with them. She would let them go before they died because she wasn't into the idea of being an insect collector. She only wanted to study how they lived. Not too long after doing several studies, she realized that when letting the bees go after the bees were in the glass jar for a few days, that they wouldn't fly or leave. She saw that as a metaphor to how people could become habituated to being stuck where they are, dependent upon what they see or think theories are. Shirley's parents always believed in her and pushed her to chase her dreams, even when some people were unkind to her because of the color of her skin. Her mom taught her to stay strong, and her dad always said, "Aim for the stars and you'll reach the treetops." That means dream big, because you can go further than you think. From an early age, Shirley knew she loved science, especially physics, which is the study of how the universe works. To become a top scientist, though, she'd need a great education. Luckily for Shirley, big changes were happening. In 1954, when she was in 3rd grade, the Brown versus Board of Education decision caused schools in America to begin to desegregate. This meant kids of all races could go to the same schools, and Shirley got access to better resources, science classes, and teachers. Then, something else happened in space. Russia launched Sputnik, the first satellite. America got a little worried about falling behind in science, so they made math and science even more important in school. They implemented a tracker in the schools to test the IQ of the students periodically. Shirley was already good at these subjects, and now she had even more chances to shine. Because of her skills and the high score she received on the test, she was put on the honors track in school, taking super advanced classes and even the opportunity to learn Latin. Shirley was so smart, she even taught her own 11th grade physics class. All this showed her that she was meant to be a scientist and inspired her to work hard to earn her PhD, the highest science degree you can get. It was the assistant principal, Mr. Boyd, who noticed Shirley's incredible talent. He saw how she excelled in even the most advanced classes. He suggested she looked into a famous science school called MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Shirley hadn't even heard of it, but her dad, even though he hadn't gone to college himself, knew it was a place where brilliant people did amazing things. Shirley's mom was worried. MIT was far away, and she knew her daughter might feel alone as one of the few Black women there. But Shirley was determined and brave. With her family's support, she became valedictorian of her high school and headed off to MIT to make her scientific dreams come true. MIT was a top science school, but it wasn't always easy for Shirley. At that time, there were very few women studying science, and even fewer Black women. Some people didn't think she belonged there, and that hurt. One day, Shirley was working on her physics homework and needed a break. She saw a group of other girls from her class working together in the hallway and thought maybe she could join them. Sadly, when Shirley asked if she could work with them, they were unkind and told her to go away. Even though she was a brilliant student, they didn't want to include her because she was different. Shirley felt rejected, and she cried for 45 minutes by herself in the classroom. It's normal to feel hurt when people are mean, but just like with her B's, Shirley didn't give up. Shirley dried her tears, finished her work, and kept aiming for her goals. Shirley didn't have any student friends at MIT. To cope with that rejection, she used to spend her time comforting a little boy that was born without eyes, nose, and lips at a hospital where she worked. She felt like it helped her realize that everyone had problems, and it didn't matter what color your skin was. She found support from her professors who saw her talent. With their encouragement and her own determination, she achieved amazing things. After graduating, Dr. Jackson dove into solving some of the biggest science mysteries. Her discoveries are a bit tricky to explain, but they changed our world in amazing ways. Let's break them down. Before caller ID, every ring was a mystery. But how did we go from guessing who's calling to knowing before we pick up? The answer lies in the groundbreaking work of Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson, a pioneer in semiconductor technology. Semiconductors are special materials, like silicon, that can conduct electricity under certain conditions. Think of them as the foundation of super fast electronic switches. Dr. Jackson discovered that by adding tiny amounts of other elements, called doping, we can control how these semiconductors switch electricity on and off. Everything in our phones, including numbers, gets translated into electrical signals. Think of them as flashes of electricity, long and short. Dr. Jackson's semiconductor switches can read these patterns at lightning speed. The caller ID signal is sent along with the phone call itself. Inside your phone, semiconductor switches decode this pattern of electrical flashes. If the number matches one stored in your phone, the semiconductor circuit triggers the display to show the name, and you know who's calling before you answer. With call waiting, those beeps aren't annoying, they're amazing. While you're on one call, semiconductors are hard at work detecting a whole new incoming signal. Special semiconductor circuits put the first call briefly on hold, checking the new one, and let you know someone else is trying to reach you. Dr. Jackson's discoveries go far beyond what we've discussed here. Her research helped create not just caller ID and call waiting, but the tiny, powerful semiconductors found in everything from computers to medical equipment. Remember dial-up internet, screeching sounds, waiting forever for a website to load? Dr. Jackson helped change all that. Her groundbreaking research in fiber optics paved the way for the lightning-fast internet we have today. Fiber optic cables are like superhighways for information. Instead of electricity, they carry data as pulses of light. Dr. Jackson studied how light interacts with different materials. This helped create incredibly thin strands of glass, perfect for guiding light signals over long distances. Light travels in straight lines, but when it hits a boundary at the right angle, something amazing happens called total internal reflection. It bounces back inside. Dr. Jackson's work helped design fiber optic cables with the perfect materials to make this light trapping effect incredibly efficient. The light can travel for miles, barely losing strength. Your computer turns whatever you're sending, texts, pictures, videos, into code, just like with phone numbers. This code translates into pulses of light. At the other end, special devices turn those light pulses back into code your computer or phone understands. This happens at breathtaking speed. Fiber optics revolutionized communication. Think video chats with distant relatives, instant news updates, even doctors performing remote surgery. All this relies on the incredible speed and capacity that Dr. Jackson's research helped make possible. Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson's work transformed the way we connect. She's not only a brilliant scientist, but a trailblazer who overcame barriers as a woman of color in her field. Today, scientists continue to build on her discoveries, finding new uses for fiber optics in medicine, sensing technology, and beyond. Her work helped illuminate the way to our interconnected world. Now, for something big. Dr. Jackson's fascination with science and her studies of physics at MIT, delving into the world of atoms and subatomic particles, focusing on how these tiny building blocks of matter behave, especially under extreme conditions, made her a force of nature in science. But how did this brilliant physicist, known for phone technology and the internet, become a leading figure in nuclear power? Nuclear power is a way to get a lot of electricity, but it needs to be super safe. After Hiroshima and Nagasaki in World War II, the world realized how destructive this science could be if not handled correctly. Nuclear power relies on a process called fission. When a large atom, like uranium, is split, it releases tremendous energy and more neutrons. Dr. Jackson's deep understanding of particle interactions made her a valuable expert in analyzing these processes. She was the perfect person to help create rules and guidelines that keep nuclear plants safe for everyone. Nuclear power offers incredible potential for clean energy, but safety is critical. Fission reactions must be carefully controlled to prevent runaway chain reactions. Oppenheimer always worried about that when he helped create the first atomic bomb in 1945. Dr. Jackson's research helped develop better ways to predict and control nuclear reactions, making power plants safer. Dr. Jackson recognized that nuclear science goes beyond electricity. Her knowledge has a wider impact. From radiation therapy for cancer to environmental monitoring, Dr. Jackson is like a safety superhero for this kind of power, making sure it's used for good and not misused in a way that could lead to harm. Because of her knowledge and leadership skills, Dr. Jackson was trusted by important people. She was appointed chairman of the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission by President Clinton. She was in charge of nuclear safety for the entire country. She even worked for leaders around the world to make sure everyone used nuclear power responsibly. Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson is more than a nuclear expert. She's a role model, breaking down barriers and demonstrating the power of science to change the world for the better. As we face challenges like climate change, Dr. Jackson's work reminds us to harness scientific knowledge wisely for a sustainable future. From the microscopic to the massive, Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson exemplifies how science shapes how we live. Her journey into nuclear power highlights the vast applications of physics and the importance of leadership in this critical. Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson is a testament to the transformative power of the human mind. From revolutionizing how we communicate to shaping the world of nuclear science, her work leaves an imprint on our daily lives. Dr. Jackson didn't just make discoveries, she shattered barriers, paving the way for the future generations of brilliant minds from all backgrounds. Don't let your competition beat you to the punch. A professional website is a must these days, and kalewebco.com makes it happen without breaking the bank. Their team is fast, friendly, and they get the results. Visit kalewebco.com now to get your free website quote and get ahead of the game. We hope Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson's incredible journey has inspired you. Remember, if you love science, technology, or just solving big problems, you can achieve amazing things no matter your background. This channel is dedicated to showing Black and brown girls that there's a place for them in the world of science and tech. With your help, we can reach even more future inventors and innovators. Want to be a part of this awesome mission? Here's how. First, hit that subscribe button. Next, share the video with your friends, your family, anyone who needs inspiration. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss an amazing story. And here's a bonus. When you subscribe, leave a comment telling us your favorite part of Dr. Jackson's story. We'll personally thank every new subscriber. Together, we can show the world what brilliance looks like. Until next time.